Welcome back, everybody, for the second round of presentations. I am joined here by Erin Bennett-Rilling and Rachel Tsitomeneas, who are going to be presenting on COVID vaccine hesitancy. And my goodness, you guys, this is so incredibly timely and cutting-edge research. And I've been bragging about, this project to a lot of people when I've been talking up this event, because it's so timely, and good for you for taking it on. So without further ado, I will hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. We just want to thank everybody for being here today. We're super excited to be able to present our research. So my name is Rachel Tsitomeneas, and I am a fourth year sociology student here at Trent.
And my name is Erin, and I'm a fourth year sociology and history student. And as the title gives it away, we are studying vaccine hesitancy regarding the recently developed COVID-19 vaccine. So our research seeks to better understand local vaccine hesitancy and some of the common misconceptions, concerns, and questions that individuals in the Peterborough region have about vaccines. So we hope to assist Peterborough Public Health in communicating effective messages with the local public about the COVID vaccine. So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stated that there will be no return to normality until the corona vaccine has been readily made available to the public. It is estimated that in order to effectively end the ongoing pandemic and reach herd immunity, at least 2/3 of the population needs to be vaccinated. Yet recent polls conducted by the Angus Reid Institute show that only 46% of Canadians have said that they will get the vaccine as soon as possible. So these findings indicate that there's a significant portion of individuals who demonstrate skepticism and hesitancy towards getting the vaccine.
So we worked with Peterborough Public Health to come up with a couple of research questions, and we focused on two different questions, one for myself and one for Erin, to kind of focus on a different aspect of vaccine hesitancy. So my question that I focused on was, which key messages will be most effective in encouraging vaccine uptake, and who should communicate them?
And then my question is, during this research, what are the demographic and psychographic characteristics of local people who express vaccine hesitancy? And then what forms and sources of information do they consume, and how do they engage with these various sources?
So to begin to answer these questions, Erin and I each did our own research based on our question, and we each produced 15-page literature reviews. From there, we developed a preliminary survey to recruit participants to participate in our focus groups. And so we conducted 4 focus groups with 18 participants. We used MS Teams online to conduct these focus groups, and we transcribed each group's answers into Word docs. And currently we're in the process of thematically coding each document into themes such as, why individuals had a hesitancy towards the vaccine, things like side effects and the administration of the vaccine, etc.
So in our initial pre-screening survey, in order to kind of pick out participants that we want to choose for our focus group, we asked everyone on a scale of 1 to 7, so 1 being not concerned at all and 7 being very concerned. How concerned are you about receiving the COVID-19 vaccine once it becomes available? So we got a pretty good response rate. We got 125 people who answered our survey. And in this screening, we found that the most common answer, so the mode, was a 1 on the vaccine hesitancy scale, which is a good sign. And then 2 and 7 were the next most popular answers. So one thing that this could potentially speak to is the polarizing nature of this topic. So 4, 5, and 6 were the least common answers. And we have found through our research and through initial literature that a lot of people are very divided on this topic.
So we have a quote here, and this was something that a participant said to us, and I think it really speaks to our research and to just the type of research that, all of the students in at Trent have been doing. Usually more is discovered during a war There is more technological advancement and breakthrough during a war than any other time, and we're at war. So a gentleman in our focus group said this, and we both like this quote because it gave a great metaphor for the work that we and others are doing. So this COVID-19 pandemic is very new for everyone, and so is the vaccine. The pandemic is constantly evolving, and everyone is constantly learning new things about COVID-19. Our research amidst this pandemic is just a small snapshot of the reasons for vaccine hesitancy in our community and also across Ontario and Canada.
So with our findings so far, one thing that we actually found was that people are not as concerned about the vaccine itself, but rather they're concerned about what type of vaccine they'll get. So for example, if they're going to get Pfizer or Moderna or AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson, people had preferences for which vaccine they wanted to get, who was giving the vaccine. So whether it was a doctor or a pharmacist or a nurse, and then also where they were going to receive the vaccine. So for example, if they had preferences over an arena or a pharmacist's office or a doctor's office. Some mentioned concerns about possible side effects. A lot of people mentioned their hesitancy because of the newness of the vaccine, and there was also concerns about the efficacy rate of vaccines.
And most people tended to make decisions regarding participating in the vaccination program based on an assessment of risks versus benefits. Doctors were mentioned across the board as the most trustworthy source for getting your vaccine and for reliable information about health in general. Many mentioned that their experience with previous vaccines also impacted their decision on whether or not they were going to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
So while we have yet to finish our research, we will be recommending that Peterborough Public Health creates campaigns addressing the unique concerns we have found in our research and work to educate Peterborough residents and most of all, be transparent and show integrity. Additionally, we would like to encourage that more research to be done on this topic, especially regarding COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy and the specifically targeting the age group of 18 to 25, as our research was not able to include them. So these are initial findings, and we still got a long ways to go, but hopefully this will help get us on the right track.
Yeah, we just hope that research such as ours is being conducted on a wider scale and that academics remain informed about this research as it continues to be published. We just want to thank everyone for coming today and giving us the opportunity to speak on our research.
That's incredible. Thank you very much. And you packed a lot of information in a very short amount of time. So well done. And just a reminder to our viewers to email any questions to tcrc@trentu.ca. And we do have another presentation happening shortly, although we're going to allow time for questions for Erin and Rachel. But Erin and Rachel are going to be sticking around. So after Jenna's presentation, we'll open up the floor for questions for all. So that's great. Thanks for agreeing to stick around. You touched on something at the end that I think I want to dive into a bit more is, you know, the vaccine hesitancy. Obviously, you identified it a little bit at the end here, but those reasons are different depending on the demographic that you are researching. So, you know, the first individuals who were able to, or who could access the vaccine were the, you know, 80 plus, and now we're sort of the 70, and now we're into the 60 to 64 range. And so, you know, did you have an inkling, or maybe you mentioned this and I missed it? Like, do you feel that those reasons will change depending on demographic?
Yeah, definitely. So my research question specifically pertains to demographic and psychographic characteristics and kind of how different demographics are with vaccine hesitancy. Some groups are more likely to be vaccine hesitant. And definitely we found in our research, age was a huge contributing factor. A lot of older people were more concerned about vaccines because they had less concerned about the vaccine because they had such a huge fear of COVID. And so demographics definitely play a huge role in this.
Mm-hmm. And our research, over half of our participants were actually retired. So a lot of our research is biased in that way, so that I would say that a lot of our results are based on that older group. And that's why we said we need to hear from that younger group as well to fully understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So what mechanism, you touch on this at the end again, but what mechanisms would you use that would be different to, sort of get answers from the younger demographics that you're looking to get into? Like, how would you change your approach or your research? Would you change your research question, like, to encapsulate sort of everybody sort of between that age of like 18 and say 60? How would you change the way you approach it, if any changes?
I think it comes down to a lot of our recruitment. So we recruited through Peterborough Public Health and through a lot of their messaging campaigns and social media. So if we wanted to recruit those younger people, definitely going to Fleming, going to Trent, that type of thing to recruit, I think would be really helpful. We might not have to change our questions so much as just get those people to participate.
Right, yes. And so I can absolutely see, those demographics not being, or not feeling like they have access, or it's not part of their daily thinking where they're thinking about, accessing information from the Peterborough Public Health. Their attention is otherwise. So maybe, yeah, like a social media campaign or something. But yeah, that's great. So no questions yet. Is there anything that you guys would like to add that you didn't touch on? Maybe like where you were going to go from here?
Well, I'll go to our last slide, but we're going to write a report for Peterborough Public Health, and we're going to make some recommendations on what types of campaigns we think they should do, who they should target. And Erin and I are kind of hoping that maybe they'll continue doing this type of research even once we're done. Maybe they will go ahead and focus on that younger group.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's fabulous. Thank you so much. And thank you, attendees, for attending this one. As I said, Erin and Rachel are going to stick around. I'm going to take just a mini break here to get Jenna up and going and get her slideshow ready. And then we'll see you back here in a moment. Thanks so much.